There are a ton of weird roadside attractions left rotting along the back roads of America. These once thriving pit stops are bizarre, mysterious, and oftentimes downright kitschy. A haunting reminder of a time when the family vacation wasn't just about the destination, but also the road trip to get there. Billboards littered the routes foretelling upcoming curiosities like The Thing or South of the Border. It's true, I've never sausaged a place. You know how long it took me to figure that one out? The rusted skeletons of rides and attractions stand as silent witnesses to the passage of time. It's like exploring the remnants of an amusement park in a post-apocalyptic world. Williamsburg, Virginia has been a hotspot for attractions for decades. Home to the living history museum that is Colonial Williamsburg, tons of tourists drag their children with the hopes that they'll actually learn something, even though they're really only interested in the thrills of nearby Busch Gardens. It's probably what led to the creation of one of the more bizarre roadside attractions that can be found in Virginia, the creepy remnants of President's Park. President's Park was the brainchild of Houston-based sculptor David Addix. Addix was inspired by his visit to Mount Rushmore and wanted to create a similar but more accessible tribute to US presidents. After securing funding, he started sculpting his massive heads, each weighing approximately 11,000 pounds and standing between 18 to 20 feet tall. President's Park was officially opened to the public in March 2004. It was located along Route 60 near Colonial Williamsburg, making it a convenient stop for tourists exploring the historic area. The goal was to provide an educational and entertaining experience. But due to operating costs, maintenance, and the fact that guests pretty much hated it from the start, they closed their doors permanently in 2013. Turns out most kids don't find a park full of giant presidential sculptures more entertaining than roller coasters. Personally, I would have turned it into a skate park, but no one listens to me based on the fact that my ideas are terrible. Okay, history lesson officially over. But what happened to the heads? Well, they're here, rotting away in a random field off a random back road near their original home. They've been here decaying due to neglect for over a decade. You can't just randomly show up and see them. I'm pretty sure that will get you shot. But they're all here, staring off into the Virginia countryside. Taft's jaw has fallen off. Lincoln, ironically, has a giant hole in the back of his head. You can't touch them because you're likely to fall right through. It's like visiting the remains of a civilization destroyed by an apocalyptic event. Also, it's hard to say apocalyptic event. Tours are offered a few times a year, and it's a great opportunity for photographers or urban explorers to see these things before they're ultimately lost to time. There were rumors that the property owners were planning to turn them into a new attraction or winery, but that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. They're all too damaged and fragile. The sculptures themselves are an amazing achievement. The detail and life that has been crafted, especially in the eyes, is astonishing work. David Addix did an amazing job. Unfortunately, that just wasn't enough to keep the doors open. It was probably a foolish attempt to put such a threadbare attraction in a spot where it was competing with not just the thrills of a world-class theme park, but also the historical recreation of such an important part of American inception. Ultimately, it's a visual reminder of the passing of time. Rotted, decaying, the earth rising up to consume them with vines and vegetation, weather slowly tearing down the countless hours that went into their creation. Like countless other roadside attractions, it's worth experiencing. Eventually, all these old oddities will be gone and we'll be left with only the ghostly memories of their quirky mysteries, dust-covered souvenirs, and faded photographs of families that were dragged into these curiosities of the past. Sure, we'll always have bigger and better amusements, but it's also important to take some time to remember how we used to be, how we used to travel, and the bonding that came from adventure. Next time that you're traveling, turn off the GPS and grab a map. You never know what you might find when you get lost. But maybe turn the GPS back on if you get too lost. I mean, this is how horror movies start.